the NFL free agency doesn't begin until July 5th. However, the franchise tag season just ended on Tuesday, and the franchise tag set the tone for free agency. Find out the winners and losers when we return.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
You done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
You got knocked the fuck out. What's happening?
There were 9 players that received the franchise tag before Tuesday. None of them were running backs. Surprising, right? We'll get into that later. But let me explain to you exactly what the franchise tags are and what they mean. Well, 8 of the players received a non-exclusive tag. And when you receive this non-exclusive tag, players have the ability to sign with another team, but their original team can match the offer that the other team gives them. But if the team denies the offer, they can trade you. They can denounce the franchise tag, but if the other team gets you, they have to give up 2 first-round picks. So it's almost like big bank taking little bank. I got this little tag. That's kind of what that is, the franchise tag. That's the non-exclusive. That's the best kind. That's the most common kind. But one of the players for the New England Patriots, he received the transition tag. That doesn't have the same power as the non-exclusive tag. The transition tag, teams use this to tag or retain one player who sets to be an unrestricted free agent and sign him to a set contract for 1 year. And this player has to abide or roll out, but they don't have the same options as the franchise tag of the non-exclusive, right? So there we have it. So the franchise tag is a big deal as we head into free agency. Now, free agency is the market in which you can try to see your market value when you go into the market. So again, we're going to talk about the running backs and how this impacts them, but more importantly, we're going to get into the winners and losers following this franchise tag season that ended Tuesday. As I mentioned earlier, there were 9 players that received the franchise tag. One of the players, the first player we're going to talk about is Josh Allen. I know you thought about the quarterback for Buffalo Bills, but not that Josh Allen. This is the outside linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He received the franchise tag, the non-exclusive that we talked about. Brian Burns, another outside linebacker for Carolina Panthers. Kyle Duggar, defensive back for the New England Patriots. Now, he's the one that received the transition tag that doesn't have the same options. This doesn't have the same power as the non-exclusive tag. All right. T. Higgins, you know him, the fantastic wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. He got franchise tag. Jalen Johnson, cornerback for Chicago Bears. Justin McDubuque, he's a defensive tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. You got Michael Pittman Jr., you know him, dynamic receiver for Indianapolis Colts. L'Jarius Sneed, he's that bull. Super Bowl champion. L'Jarius Sneed, he got franchise tag for the Kansas City Chiefs, and everybody is going to want him once he hits the free agent market, and if he has a season like he did last year, that is. And Antonio Wingfield Jr. may be the best safety in football, but again, he's early in his career, but he also got franchise tag. That was the 9 players that got franchise tag. Now, this is how it works. Players have until July 15th. I was mistaken. Earlier I said July 5th. It's July 15th to reach a long-term extension with their team. Now, they also could be traded, untagged, or released into free agency market, right? The teams have this power. Like, again, this is resembling big bank, take little bank. I mean, you got some options in there, but that's really what this is. I'm tagging you, so I own you, so you only have the leverage to do such and such. But at the end of the day, you're gonna do what I'm telling you to do. Again, if not, the player has to play the 2024 season on a franchise tag, guaranteed the 1-year price. Now, the price of the tag is based on the market of that particular position. Now, you're going to see how this comes into play because the running backs market is continuously being devalued. It's constantly going down, and you're going to hear some statistics moving forward. As you see, and I can tell you now, the NFL in the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2024, the NFL, their revenues have increased, or their market value have increased 92%. 92% in the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2024. Running backs position have only increased in value 25%. They're the only ones. Every other position, specialty positions, team at least increased 60%.
What?
Basement value at least 60%. So you got running backs at 25% and decreasing. So is free agency a good thing for the running backs when everybody in the league has already devalued them? So again, this is going to be interesting moving forward. And again, running backs, like we talked about, they're probably the biggest losers in all of this, and for reasons we just discussed. Their value is constantly going down, and they have the least amount of leverage, because what they're saying, and again, the NFL has some, they have some credence in this. There's some truth to it, where, as you play a couple years, you work toward that big contract. And running backs, they start to physically decline earlier, statistics show, than other positions, because all of the pounding, all of the hits that they take. In fact, I played college football. They measured it. They said each collision like a full speed tackle is like hitting a car going 30 miles an hour. Like, just imagine you're hitting another human being. This is not a vehicle. This is not a machine. And it's like a car going 30 miles an hour. So just imagine running into a car going 30 miles an hour. That's what some of them collisions are like. And the players are only getting bigger, faster, and stronger. So it's only getting more impactful, right? So no running backs were tagged this year. And again, surprisingly, last year there were 3 running backs tagged. So again, they're on the decline. Last year, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard, they were all tagged. Saquon Barkley from the Giants, Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, and Tony Pollard from the Cowboys. Again, the franchise tag number for running backs, which is an average of the top 5 highest paid players at the position, has only increased 25% over the same time span that I mentioned earlier, that the NFL increased 92%, and every other position at least increased 60%.
Oh my God.
So the lack of franchise tags on running backs means these players will finally get a chance to test their value on the market. Now, this is a good thing if you're not a running back, because they're getting devalued. So they're going to test their value on the market, but the prices are down. So you're going to have to settle, and you're not going to get the price that you want. So again, the running back position tag last year, it increased into 11.95 million. So basically 12 million for this season. So you mean to tell me that no team thought that any of the running backs were worth 12 million, or at least on the front end, to franchise tag them and guarantee it? They're going to let them test the market, because they already know that no one's going to bite on a running back that for more than 12 million, or they're going to go against the grain, as the Houston Texans did when they gave Deshaun Watson that guaranteed money. The NFL, it's more than just owners of the NFL. It's a fraternity, like the police, like anybody else. So again, they're not going to allow another team to go against the grain. At least that's my opinion. Now, the running backs who rushed for over 1,000 yards from scrimmage in 2023 are set to be free agents. Now, if the running backs market wasn't being devalued, this would be great news for running backs, because this is probably the best crop of free agent running backs that we've ever seen at one time. You got all rushed over 1,000 yards. You got Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Swift, Philly's own. You got Devin Singletary and Austin Eckler. They all rushed for over 1,000 yards, and they're about to hit the free agency market. At any other time, if the running back position wasn't getting devalued, this would be a great time to be a running back. But will the running backs get their just due? I doubt it, but time will tell. There's always winners and there's always losers. So I'm going to outline the biggest loser on the brink moving into this free agency season is the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are the biggest losers, and this is why. Because they continue to get rid of their best players. They continue to let their star players go. Yes. And this whole notion that we're going to rebuild, we're going to trade up to get this #1 draft pick that's appearing to be a bust. They're the biggest losers in all of this. And we just saw one of the star players they traded away play in the Super Bowl. Yes, the Super Bowl, Christian McCaffrey. And then also they traded away DJ Moore. He's with Chicago Bears. Listen, they did all of this because they thought They were on the brink of greatness, getting in Bryce Young from Alabama, the highly sought after quarterback, only to find out that he can't cut it. It didn't look like it last year. It didn't even look close. So we'll see what this year brings. We'll see what Bryce Young can produce this year. The other loser in this is the Miami Dolphins, in my view. And here's why. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? They're dynamic. They went to the playoffs. They got Tua Tagovailoa, and they got all these fast players, Tyreek Hill, and all this. And that's true. That's true. But they still haven't won a playoff game with Tua, and his contract is up. So what are you going to do? And here's the hard part: you can't lowball him like maybe a Baker Mayfield, and we'll talk about it a little bit because his numbers. Tua was elite. He passed for, I believe, more passing yards than any other quarterback. And I believe he passed for more passing yards than any other quarterback. And completion percentage. Yes. He's the most accurate. Throws such an easy, pretty ball to catch. His anticipation is so phenomenal. The speed in which he can see everything. He's a fully timing quarterback. But on the other end, they're fast and dynamic, but they lack toughness. Yes. And the question is, does Tua have enough to put the team on his back and actually win? And that's the biggest question. And that's why they're a loser, because something's going to have to happen. It's hard for them to let him go. He's leading the league in passing yards and passing efficiency, but can't win a playoff game. The Miami Dolphins has not won a playoff game in 23 years. No! Yes. The Miami Dolphins have not won a playoff game in 23 years. That's a long time. That is a long time. I got a few winners for you, though. Can you say Marrchase? Can you say break the bank? Marrchase is going to break the bank. I believe he's the most dynamic receiver that we've seen in some time. He has it all from strength to speed to catch radius to everything. Him or Jefferson, but Chase is up for a contract. Now, the Bengals' number one receiver has been a Pro Bowler each of his first 3 seasons. So show me why we're going to set a new market for wide receivers with Chase. Tell me why you wouldn't. Chase is now eligible for a long-term extension that we discussed for the first time. Now, there's no reason why Chase, and that's why they franchise tag the other receiver for the Bengals, T. Higgins, because they didn't want to lowball and give Chase that franchise tag, because then he would have probably felt a little some kind of way. And next year, when he's up for free agency, he could have probably left. They did it to Higgins because they can't afford to agitate the number one, Chase. No. So, again, when he comes out, I believe he's going to set a new market for the wide receivers. He's going to get paid more than any other receiver. Calvin Ridley. I know what you're saying. Yeah, he was high. We couldn't wait. We were anticipating his return because I think he had to sit out a year. And he returned. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's a super burner. He can stretch the field. He didn't have a great season last year, but he's going to break the bank. He's going to break the bank because if his agent is smart, he'll wait until after Marrchase signs, because Marrchase is going to increase the market value of wide receivers. He'll wait till he signed and then get in where he fits in under where Chase signs. That's what I believe Ridley's going to do, and he's going to hit him hard, as he deserves. I mean, he's a burner. He stretches the field, and he's a quality receiver. Christian Wilkins, he's going to get paid. They say he's the number one defensive player that's going up for free agency. He's 28 years old, defensive tackle. He avoided franchise tag, and he's going to hit the market. He's going to hit the market as the top defensive player. So he's going to get paid, and defensive linemen get paid. And finally, Baker Mayfield. The Baker Mayfield that everybody thought couldn't get right with Cleveland for all these years. Got traded, this and this. We thought Baker couldn't get right. Well, last year, Baker got right. Yes. He got right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he positioned himself very well for the upcoming free agency. Now, many was doubting him and things like that, but he led them to the NFC South Championship. Right? Baker Mayfield gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid. Listen, I know you're salty that the NFL is not here now, but we keeping it in tune. There's a lot of updates, a lot of things going on. I'm gonna keep you abreast as to what's going on. Until then, be blessed.